Hey, this is Ring from the Ring and welcome back to my channel. Today we're downtown and I'm on Spadina. That's right, this is north and that's south. UT and all that is over there. And on Spadina, R&D is right up this street right here, like really close. And if you've guessed it, we've came downtown to introduce another restaurant here in Toronto. They're very famous. They're not only very famous here in Toronto, but a few years ago, but about 7 years ago, they were named #1 restaurant in Canada. That's success right there. The restaurant that we're gonna show you today is like just right down the corner. It's actually at the corner of Spadina and Queen. The restaurant I'm gonna show you today is ALO. ALO restaurant was named the #1 restaurant in Canada just like a few years back. Another achievement that ALO restaurants got, they were picked by Michelin last year to be included in Michelin's restaurant in Toronto. So that's another awesome achievement that ALO achieved. You know, #1 restaurant in Canada. Now they got a star from Michelin. And it's all here on Spadina. If you're in town to visit, you don't know where to go, you come down to Queen and Spadina. That's where you get a lot of fashionistas. But besides fashionistas, this corner, it's close to R&D, which I've introduced to you guys. You know, awesome fusion Asian restaurant that was also named last year by Michelin. It was, I think, Michelin's Pick or whatever they call that. They're really good. Go check out that video of mine. But ALO here is definitely amazing and you guys should check it out. Now, I'd like to point out that our 11-course taste menu dining experience reflects that of the ALO's choice of dishes in early April 2023. ALO restaurant, as is with many other top-tier restaurants around town, have a tendency to switch up their menu constantly, and so the next time you head to this excellent restaurant by Bachelor Chris, you may notice a slightly altered set of course served, which in my chain of thought is actually perfect. You can head back and they would have pushed the reset button for you automatically. So it's an all-new experience every time you go back, which is bound to be one of the best dining experiences ever in one of the world's best restaurants. So as we're walking into this excellent restaurant here on Spadina, we started out the night with canapés. So the canapés that served out was like art pieces. It was so pretty. I mean, when we walked in, we saw in the kitchen, the chefs were actually using tweezers to cook. They wanted to look exactly the way they wanted to look. So to be precise, they used tweezers. And I'm telling you, they were really pretty. I was hesitant to actually put them in my mouth and mash them up. The first thing that we got was the Japanese macaron tart. It has caviar and garnished with radish. It was really fresh. Like what I felt was a sea breeze. You're starting to feel that you're close to the sea, or you're sitting at a terrace close by the shoreline or something. It was really wonderful. And then they were greeted with the shikoku oyster. As you know, shikoku oysters are more meaty and a little on the sweet side. It was topped with salmon and plum vinegar. The oyster and the salmon would be all mixed in together once it slips into your mouth. It was super fresh, super smooth. Loved it. And for a change, the next thing was a sunchoke and black truffle puree. Now, to enjoy that puree, they gave us fried bits that are wonderful. I thought that was the course, but it's actually not. It's the puree that we were there to enjoy. And the last of the 4 canapés was the foie gras tart. And there was thin layer of apple cider gel, and it was smooth. It's creamy, it's like buttery. It's like telling you this is like a prefix, and then you're like, okay, well, these type of tastes are about to hit you harder later on as the other courses were served. So and then we started our night with the first course, which is the Hokkaido scallop. Comes with an assortment of a sashimi with clams from British Columbia, as well as cucumber, cilantros, and relish. And it is topped off with some sort of cucumber dressing. It was both refreshing and exciting. The wine that was paired felt almost like it was diluted. You know how the clams and the scallops were so silky, slides and glides into your mouth and down your throat. And when paired with a tart d'angelier, clean, it was very light, and it went with the scallops, silky, smooth feel. It all just worked so well. After the Hokkaido scallop, we were greeted with turbot. Now, this turbot sashimi was marinated with pepper, basil foam, basil puree, keto pepper puree, and pink lemon relish on top. This turbot sashimi was also really, really smooth. Now, it is very similar to our first course, but it has more texture to it. And paired with the Salmon Mendes Alvarino Contacto Vino Verde, pardon me if I pronounce all of them words wrong, it was very pleasing, and it worked in conjunction with the aforementioned purees and foam. After the turbot was A5 Wagyu. Now, it was both delicate and contains its superior Wagyu characteristics. It was so easy to go around that one might have mistaken this A5 Wagyu to be total sashimi. Now, that's the feeling that I had because of the texture and the fattiness of this Wagyu that was served. And it was paired with something from Austria. It did what it was supposed to do. So after A5 Wagyu, which was a little heavier in taste, pairing was nicely carried out when they brought us an Alta Elela. While I was tasting that cava, it was almost like drinking Sprite in the summer days. It's like the fizz just cleans out your taste buds for your next course. And he's a lobster from the East Coast. It was one of my favorites of the night. It was served with eggs on the bottom and on top. It had buttery smooth uni, and it was masterfully paired with the cava from Panama's. And the next course had a choice between two. Now, the first one would be mochi curry rice, and the second would be the egg nonati. And the rice was seasoned with porcini, mushrooms, and shio-koji butter. On top of that is puffed rice, black sesame, and grapefruit zest. Marination that was done with porcini mushrooms, which gives you a hint of nuttiness and therefore creating an illusion of meat. And as I said, I got the egg nonati, and it was paired with bordy côtés du Jura. My egg nonati was very special. They put over 4 grams of black truffle, but the black truffle itself obviously exudes a strong aroma and hints at a meat-like scent. And with the bordy, it was perfectly balanced by the also strong nuttiness of the wine, and therefore it actually works. We were welcomed back to the shoreline with the shrimp red mullet, and the red mullet that we got, I was paired with the Gurino crew. Red mullet itself being quite known for the distinctive taste that reminds one of shellfish. It's actually no exception here, and this course actually reminded me of the previous dish where the East Coast lobster was served with top-tier uni. That was very creamy. The red mullet served here with tiny hint of spice is also creamy, having a texture similar to that of a chicken liver. Paired with the granite cream was a surprising match for me, perhaps because both the wine and the creamy red mullet were from the country of Portugal. Now, the next dish is roasted duck breast, which we might call Peking duck. So, this is my first time tasting Peking duck in a French restaurant, albeit an international-inspired contemporary French restaurant, served with mushrooms, Brussels sprout petals, and puffed barley. Base of it are some scallops and XO jus, along with some mushrooms in a puree. The elegant fruity nature of the Commando G brings perfect harmony to the balance of the juicy roasted duck breast. It was another perfect pairing, if you must ask me. And we're back with another choice between a Provimi veal tenderloin or the Japanese A5 Wagyu strip loin. I like Wagyus, but I don't often have it, but given a chance, I always take it. I also tried the Provimi veal tenderloin. It is very tender and juicy, and I'd be satisfied with this tenderloin had I not ordered the Japanese A5 Wagyu, which was paired perfectly with the classic and savory nature of the Veneti Ripeto. And boy, is my Japanese A5 Wagyu strip loin special or what. This Japanese A5 Wagyu is on another level. Fattiness and modeling is so perfect, it is just divine. Perfectly balanced, of course, with a very flavorful Veneti from Italy. In my mind, the bread that accompanied the veal and the strip loin was flawlessly chosen as well. And we'll come to our last course, perhaps the most awaited course, of ALO staff provided us with a complimentary pre-dessert to allow our taste buds to ease into the dessert from the previous savory courses throughout the night. This also yummy zesty pre-dessert consists of pink lemon curd, lemon grenadine, and topped with a thick layer of champagne emulsion. It was like a breath of fresh air from early spring, both refreshing and allows one to welcome the night's final act, the decadent chocolate tart and petite fours. They gave us each a slice of chocolate tart, sided with a spoonful of espresso ice cream. Then there was a treasure box full of some of the most prettiest petite fours I've encountered in recent times. All this was fittingly paired with tawny pork, which actually contains cotton candy in it, and therefore I consider it a dessert all by itself, and was a perfect conclusion to our night at ALO restaurant.